What if I told you that hikers in California's Santa Lucia Mountains believe they're being watched by mysterious figures? This is the legend of the Dark Watchers, a phenomenon that has persisted for centuries. Tonight, we invite you to explore this chilling story with us. We'll present the evidence, theories, and testimonies that have kept this legend alive. By the end of this video, you might find yourself questioning the world around you. The Dark Watchers await in the shadows of the Santa Lucia Mountains. Are they real, or just a figment of our imagination? Shadows in the mist, origins of the Dark Watchers. I saw it as the sun set over the Santa Lucia Mountains. A tall, dark figure stood motionless on the ridge, just watching. My heart raced as I grabbed for my phone, but when I looked back up, it was gone. This is one of many encounters with the mysterious Dark Watchers. For centuries, people in California's coastal ranges have seen these shadowy figures. They're described as tall, often cloaked, and always observing from a distance. The origins of the Dark Watchers are unclear. Some think they're supernatural guardians, while others say they're just tricks of light and shadow. The Dark Watchers are mysterious, shadowy figures that have been reported in the Santa Lucia Mountains of California for centuries. These eerie beings are often described as tall, cloaked figures that stand silently on the ridges, watching over the valleys below. The legends of the Dark Watchers have been passed down through generations, and many people have shared their unsettling encounters with these enigmatic entities. The descriptions of Dark Watchers have stayed consistent over time. They never approach, always watching from afar, and they vanish the moment you try to get a closer look. One of the earliest accounts of the Dark Watchers comes from the Chumash Native Americans, who believed these figures were supernatural beings. They referred to them as the Old Ones and considered them to be protectors of the land. The Chumash would leave offerings of food and tobacco to appease the Dark Watchers and ensure their protection. In the early 20th century, the legend of the Dark Watchers gained more attention when poet Robinson Jeffers mentioned them in his work. Jeffers described the figures as forms that look human but are certainly not human, and noted their unsettling presence in the mountains. This brought the Dark Watchers into the public eye, and more people began to report their own encounters. The mind's eye, psychology of Dark Watcher encounters. The human brain is a marvel of evolution, but it has its quirks. One of these is our tendency to see patterns and faces where none exist. This aspect of our minds might explain more about the Dark Watchers than we realize. Could the key to unraveling this mystery lie within our own psyche? I recently spoke with an experienced hiker who had a chilling encounter in the Santa Lucia Mountains. As night fell, she spotted a tall, dark figure standing motionless on a distant ridge, watching her. Her heart raced, and when she blinked, it vanished. This story echoes many I've heard as a psychologist. All share an absolute certainty of what was seen and an overwhelming sense of fear. Our brains constantly try to make sense of the world, even with incomplete or ambiguous information. In the wilderness, especially as darkness sets in, our minds go into overdrive. The isolation, unfamiliar surroundings, and fading light combine to put us on high alert. Shadows morph into figures, and rustling leaves sound like footsteps. Our imagination fills in the gaps, often with unsettling results. The legend of the Dark Watchers itself influences how we interpret what we see. If you've heard stories about tall, shadowy figures in the mountains, you're more likely to perceive an ambiguous shape as fitting that description. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. During these encounters, people report physical symptoms like increased heart rate, sweating, and a sense of dread. In this heightened state, our brains process visual information differently, hyper-focusing on potential threats. Are the Dark Watchers real, or just a product of our fear-addled minds? The answer might not be straightforward. While psychology explains many aspects of these encounters, some sightings remain puzzling. To fully understand the phenomenon, we need to examine the natural world itself. What tricks might the mountains be playing on us? Dark Watchers, real encounters unveiled. One particularly chilling encounter occurred in the 1960s when a schoolteacher named John Steinbeck, son of the famous author, and his friend were hiking in the Santa Lucia Mountains. As they reached a high ridge, they saw a tall, dark figure standing on the edge, staring out over the valley. The figure was motionless and seemed to be watching them. When they tried to approach, the figure vanished into thin air, leaving them both shaken and bewildered. Another eerie encounter was reported by a local rancher who was out riding his horse in the mountains. He noticed a dark figure standing on a distant ridge, watching him intently. As he rode closer, the figure disappeared, only to reappear on another ridge further away. This happened several times, with the figure always staying just out of reach. The rancher eventually gave up trying to approach the figure and rode home, deeply unnerved by the experience. In more recent years, hikers and campers have continued to report sightings of the Dark Watchers. Many describe the figures as being tall and cloaked, with an almost ghostly appearance. Some have even reported feeling a sense of dread or unease when they see the figures, as if they are being watched by something otherworldly. Skeptics argue that the Dark Watchers are simply a result of pareidolia, the tendency of the human brain to see familiar shapes in random patterns. They suggest that the figures are nothing more than shadows cast by the mountains or tricks of the light. However, those who have encountered the Dark Watchers firsthand are often convinced that there is something more to these mysterious beings. Conclusion. As we conclude our exploration of the Dark Watchers, we've seen how these shadowy figures have blended the natural world with our deepest fears and hopes, reminding us of the enduring power of mystery. The legend of the Dark Watchers continues to captivate and terrify those who hear it. Whether they are supernatural protectors, ghostly apparitions, or simply figments of the imagination, the Dark Watchers remain an enduring mystery of the Santa Lucia Mountains. For those who venture into these rugged peaks, the possibility of encountering these shadowy figures adds an extra layer of intrigue and fear to their journey. They highlight how cultural beliefs, personal experiences, and the power of suggestion can shape our perceptions of reality. As we continue to explore the world around us, let's carry this lesson with us, embracing the mysteries we encounter while maintaining a thoughtful, inquisitive approach.